The next concept is conditional statements. So what does mean that conditional statements? So conditional statements, here we have different kind of conditional statements like if, else, switch, case, default. So these many conditional statements we have. So if, else, switch, case, default, these all are for condition. Condition means if you wanted to be validate something, if that condition is, if that validation is good, then execute something. If it is wrong, execute something. Likewise, it is going to be defined. You are verifying the conditions. How you can verify the condition, we are going to see here. So the acceptant value to verify here, that might be anything, number or string, okay, a character, boolean, whatever it is. But end result will be either true or false. Okay, so if we get into that, if, so inside if you can write it the condition, the result will be either true or false. If it is give it as a true, then inside if statement the logic is going to be execute. Okay, so the next thing is else. Else is for if is not success, that means this condition is not true, then it's move on to the else statement. Okay, so if and else will be a tightly coupled. Let's take, if you write it if, else if you're not going to write, then okay, there is no compilation errors. If you not write the if and if you write it as a else, then compiler will tell that unable to find this, where is the if. So that means when you are going to use else, if condition is mandatory. If you are using a if, else condition is not the mandatory. Okay, so it is optional, else condition is the optional. But when use the combination, else if you are using, if is the mandatory. Okay, so we will write the sample program, and before that, if you see the syntax here, if it's a condition, okay, then else statement. So here conditional statements, I'm writing one more class, conditional statements example, public static void main. Okay, so here I'm going to take it as int age equal to, let's take it as a 30. If, here if age is greater than 30, then execute the statement. Age is greater than 30. Okay, so here some issue it is showing, int, what is it, create a field age. So already we created age, okay, but still it is not allowing inside that. Why it is not allowing here? This is the static block, but integer is the non-static. Okay, so that is the reason it is not allowing. So you can just put it like this, then it will allow you. Okay, because this is the static block, you are using non-static inside. So those things I will explain when we are get into that modifiers. We have another concept is modifier. At that time I will explain this thing. Okay, so far just keep it as non-compiled way. Let's learn it. See here, there is no result. It's simply terminated. What happened inside? Just put it the breakpoint. Just try to run it again. Just have a look on that. So my breakpoint is here. So if you select this one, right click, see that result is showing it as a false. Right click here, just evaluate the expression. See the result is false. Why it is false? Whatever 30 is giving, that is not greater than 30, right? It's equal to 30. Okay, that is the reason it is not getting to that output. Okay, inside this if statement. If you see the result, I'm just terminating this debugger, but output there is nothing here. Okay, you didn't see any output. This is not the good at all, right? If this condition is not running, you should give some message, else should required. But if is having the ability, there is no else also, you can directly execute the program. Here you didn't see any compilation issues, but this is not the good approach. As a standards, like a coding standards, you should write it in the else also. If you write if, else also is mandatory as a coding standard, then you need to write it as a else. You should tell that system.out.println age is not greater than 30. So now the program looks good. If this is not success, then display this. If I rerun it, output should come as a age is not greater than 30. So if this is not executed, immediately this will execute. Okay, that is the else condition. So the same way we can write it another also, another approach also. This is approach 1. The second approach, you can write the same way. Approach 2. What I'm going to do, I'm just copying the same thing and put it here. I'm removing these all the braces. See here, if I write it like this, there is no compilation error. Okay, and this is also I'm removing. Now no compilation error. Okay, so this kind of things will be acceptable if it is having the single statement. This is one statement. Let's take if I want to add one more statement, but compiler is giving the compilation error. See here, it's a compilation error came. The problem is if you are not using the braces, only acceptable is one statement can accept after the if. So else scenario also be same. So here also it will be accept, which is the first statement next to the else. So this is the first statement. So only this statement will be allowing. If you are using multiple statements as part of the condition, this approach is not suggestible. Your compiler will be giving it as a error. So to avoid this problem, what you need to do, you should add it like this. See here, like this you can use it. So what I'm trying to say, when you are going to use multiple statements as part of that condition, you should use the braces. If you are using a single statement, okay, you can remove this one. There is no compilation error now. If you run it, output will be coming. See, output is coming thrice. This is for first one, and this is for second one. These two lines of code is going to execute and output is coming it as. The next thing is, whatever the logic you have written, this is not the correct, right? Its age is not greater than 30, but a display is giving it as age is not greater than 30, but equal is there, right? What you need to do, you can just put it as a equal. So this is the correct logic. If you run it, the first statement is good. Age is greater than 30. Okay, greater than or equal to. We should put it like this, or equal to. Greater than or equal to. Okay, so now you can change the code also here. So if you remember, the same kind of thing we learned previous session. Okay, this is one of the operator. That is the reason we covered before itself. Okay, operators. So one thing you should remember, Java is interlinking. Okay, so whatever going to use, the same concept will be already we covered. Okay, so the similarly, if you see, this is assignment operator. Okay, here we use this one more operator. There is one more. That's it. Only so far two operators we covered. In future, we are going to add one more. Likewise, one by one, we'll coming to that. So don't miss that concepts. Okay, you can just go through it once, then it will be handy to you. If you run it, you can see the output properly. Age is greater than or equal to 30, and this is for second approach. This is still giving it as a this message. Okay, so this is the one for conditional if and else statement. The next thing is